All right, welcome to the Planning Board meeting of November 3rd, 2025, and the time is 6:32. Emily, would you like to read the prelude?
So much.
Thank you.
This meeting, can everyone hear me? Will be held in a hybrid fashion with the opportunity for both in-person attendance and remote participation. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting/hearing will be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. The meeting will be held in person in the main meeting room of Deerfield Municipal Offices. Welcome, everyone. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, anyone intending to record the meeting must identify themselves to the clerk and provide their name and address for the record, etc.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, guidelines for business meeting. Please speak one at a time. Follow Deerfield Code of Conduct. Be respectful, considerate, courteous, concise, recognized by the chair. And I will identify board members. Rachel Blaine,
Rachel Blaine. Rachel Blaine here.
Emily Gaylord,
Emily Gaylord here.
Kathy Wetruba,
Kathy Wetruba here.
Ann Buchanan.
Ann Buchanan here.
Okay, and absent are Andrew Liebson and Satu Zoller. All right. Okay, so has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of 10/6/2025? And are there any corrections, any additions?
I move that we accept the meetings as presented, the meeting notes for September 8th.
All right. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Rachel Blaine, aye.
Emily Gaylord, aye.
Kathy Wetruba, aye. Ann Buchanan, aye.
And Denise Mason, aye, so that's unanimous. Thank you. All right, so for new business, before I even start, we don't have a huge crowd, but as you can see, I'm right up next to the mic, okay? So when you talk, that's including planning board members, get right up to the mic, because if not, people online can't hear us, and it's really incredibly annoying. So if you would please do that. So we're going to start off with the A&R for 39 Thayer Street. Anyone here for that? Come on down. Okay, and can you please sign in and then state your names? And Amy, do you want to put that up? Can you put that up on the screen? Do you have that? Or, okay, Alex, thanks. Okay, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, so my name is Matt Mannheim, and this is Becky Keesby. We're here as a
Closer, Matt.
representative for the property owner, Hugh Mannheim, looking to break the contiguous property into 3 separate lots.
Right.
39 Thayer Street, which is the old BBA Deli, as it was used to be known.
Mm-hmm.
4 Boron Avenue, which we're the residents of, and then the lot across the street with the agricultural greenhouse.
Okay. So, okay, the question was, so it looks like you do have, let's see, you've got enough, yeah. And also on Bourne Avenue. Does everyone from the planning board, there's so many lines, it was a little confusing looking at it. Does,
Well, lot 1, lot 2, lot 3.
right. Okay. So lot 1 is going to be the smallest one. Then we've got lot 2, and lot 3 is the entire on the, I don't know what direction, on the map on the right side of this. Okay. All right. And even though lot 2 is on board, it still has enough frontage. Okay. All right. And so, as I think we've stated or has been stated, although you could separate them, they aren't necessarily building lots. I mean, that's up to, meeting with the building inspector to make sure everything works. Okay.
Correct, yes. So Lot 2 already has 4 Boron Avenue on it, and so I'm not looking to build or anything on it. I'm just looking to, it's estate planning, really.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. And I think our building commissioner is online too. And as far as I know, he said there are no issues. From the planning board, do I hear questions? Kathy? Into the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Mic.
Kathy Wittrova. So, who, is that a town road? Is Bourne Street a town owned?
No,
Or-
it's a private way.
So it's private. So who maintains it and who plows it? And
So that was kind of a question that was up in the air for a while and nobody really knew. Prior to Hugh purchasing the property,
Yeah.
the town plowed it.
okay,
And then once it was discovered it was a private way, I myself have been plowing it, maintaining it for now. I know that the cemetery does have an easement as well as 3 Bourne Avenue. And then I believe 4 would also have an easement. There are also public utilities that run down it.
Okay.
The cemetery has town water. 4 Bourne Avenue is on sewer.
do you know the width of the road?
As far as the pavement goes, I am not sure off the top of my head. However, I do know that on the survey plan, he was saying a 30-foot road, 30-foot right of way.
So the whole width is 35, which would be 15 feet on each side. Okay. I mean, I walk it a lot. You know, you see me. I see your dog. Hey, here, the other dog. I go through there a lot. It's a nice, quiet space. You know, the road. I was really kind of curious about the road, and also like, so it was originally implemented for Holy Name of Jesus Cemetery, correct? And so, what is their relation to this now, as it relates to this road and the property of the cemetery and the church? Do we know? No.
As far as I know, it's just an easement.
Okay.
It's a deeded right of way
Okay.
on a
Okay.
private ave.
Oh, deeded private way to the cemetery.
To the cemetery.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes all the way around that corner and then down even towards
Oh.
West Street and connects in there.
Well, how is the road been maintained so far?
So he just said he was plowing it.
Oh, okay, you
Yeah.
have. you
So as far as snow removal, I've been plowing it, sanding it,
Okay.
everything like that.
Okay, because I know most private ways are managed by individuals as opposed to the town. Okay.
So, but what we're talking about is that lot 1 is still a residential buildable lot. I mean, the house is on it. The building 4, that's a barn?
Building 4,
I
no,
don't know.
building.
It says a barn and then, is that a residence?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. That's 4 Boron Avenue. That's a house.
So we're making that into I don't understand how that's.
It's just an approval not required. They met all the dimensional requirements and it's a legal private way that's in existence prior to the subdivision control.
But I guess what I'm saying is that, okay, so it's held by somebody, right? You don't live in 4.
I do.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, you live in 4.
Yes.
So you pass it on to somebody else. They want to sell it to somebody else, but they don't have frontage. They have no frontage because it's not a,
I mean, basically, all you're doing here, because it says not approval, is you're endorsing it that it is not a subdivision.
Right.
And you're allowed to divide into 3 lots without being a subdivision. So that's pretty much your only job, is to say this isn't a subdivision.
right.
Yeah.
Right, it's less than 5.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, that whole property, lot 1, 2, and 3 was all one parcel, and it's been split up.
Now
Okay.
we're splitting it into
Okay.
3.
Right,
Right.
and they all have frontage, the legally required frontage on, and dimensional sizing and everything on Boron Ave, which is allowable on a private way.
Even though it's a private way.
Yeah, yeah, the subdivision control act has like A, B, and C, and one of them is on a public way, and it very specifically talks to that, but C is because this lot was configured like this and this private way has been in existence prior to the enactment of the subdivision control act, yeah.
That's what you're saying here.
Yeah.
All right.
You got it.
Are there any additional questions from the planning board?
No.
Okay.
I move that we endorse the A&R for
It's 39.
this project. What is it? For
No, it's 46.
39 Thayer,
Okay, sorry.
39 Thayer Street, Boron Ave.
I second Kathy Wittrova.
All right. Roll call?
Rachel Blaine, aye.
Emily Gaylord, I.
Kathy Wetruba, aye.
Ann Buchanan, I.
And Denise Mason, aye. You're all set.
Thank you for your time.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you guys, you need to sign it, or we can, if you guys want to come back for that, they will sign it at the end of the meeting and you can
No, you don't have to. this
come
is-
back.
Right, you have done an deed easement.
Yeah, we can sign it.
You want to sign the Mylar? Okay, yeah, so they'll sign the Mylar for you and you can take that with you.
No, you don't have to come
Because
back.
that will be easier to pass, you know.
So if you're willing to wait, we'll sign this so you can just
then
take it with
can
you.
just take
Yeah.
it with you.
Okay, all right, let's just rolling out.
Oh, deeded easement things.
You have a marker?
Good enough for, right? I asked you for a friend. So they, and the other people.
You only need 4. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no, okay. And I don't want to say it, I. No. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Pencil? Where's my pencil? Dang it. Oh, there it is. Thank God. I don't know anything else. Hey dog, just right. Hey dog. That way does.
Was the bet
Hey dubs. What?
over here?
That goes with, yeah. Into the program. Okay, moving right along, man. Chinga, chinga.
Okay, great. All right. So it's set. Okay, all right. So, site plan review for 2 Sugarloaf Street. Notice is hereby given that the Deerfield Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, November 3rd, 2025 at 6:30 PM on application filed by Sugarloaf Development LLC for site plan review for construction of a 3-story mixed-use building with ground floor commercial space and 12 residential units above, located at 2 Sugarloaf, identified in the assessor's records as map 168, lot 13, pursuant to bylaw chapter 179, Section 5400, application documents available for review in foyer of municipal offices or online, www.deerfieldmass.us in the calendar event. Who writes these and why are they run-on sentences? It's like, take a breath in between. Yeah, well, lawyers should have their punctuation a little better than that. Okay. All right, welcome.
Speaking of lawyers, for the record, Tom Reedy, an attorney with Bacon Wilson out of Amherst High. How are you? On behalf of Sugarloaf Development in its application for site plan review, as the chair noted, with me this evening, I've got Justin Colleen and Jason Keitsa, the developers, for a very exciting project for a redevelopment here in downtown, just a stone's throw from where we are at the old Cumberland Farms property. With us, we've got some folks from Proterra, site engineers, Ben and Tom, and then we also have Jonathan Salvon from Kuhn Riddle, who is the architect of the project. And so, I mean, really high level, I'll start, and then I'll turn it over to Jonathan, and then we'll turn it over to Tom, and then kind of back here for questions. As I mentioned, to Sugarloaf Street, right here in the center of town. I remember I was telling Jason earlier when I did the permitting for Cumberland Farms on Route 5, the question kept being, what are you going to do with that space? What are you going to do with that space? And Cumberland Farms waited long enough. And then Justin and Jason came in with their capes and swords and kind of made Cumberland Farms sell them the property for this reuse. And so we're looking at commercial on the first floor, residential, much needed on the second floor. There's also one more residential on the first floor. So 13 total units is what's being proposed, and what I would consider a very attractive 3-story building for downtown. Jonathan, I'll turn it over to you if you want to walk them through the building, and then Tom will turn it over to you to walk them through the site, talk stormwater, just high level, and then we can get into any questions that you have.
I guess I'll start off, make sure folks can hear me. Can folks hear me?
You're going to have to speak a little louder.
Okay. I mean, my mic a little closer to my mouth there. Is that better? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Great. So good evening. I'm going to walk you through the building. I'm going to share my screen if I may. Is that possible?
Yes.
Yeah, they just need to give you sharing
Okay.
access.
Here we go. Okay, you
That-
should be good now.
Great. Should I share the right screen? Let's see here. Okay. Does everybody see the Google Earth image?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Just to give a quick bit of context, as Tom said, it's very close to where you're meeting right now. I'm sure everyone knows where it is, but just for full clarity and to start the conversation, we're looking at this site here where the Cumberland Farm was for a long time. It's sort of like a gap or almost a kind of a missing hole in the center of the town that really is looking to get that space sort of filled in and look like it's more properly part of downtown. And so that was where we were kind of starting with our thinking when Jason approached me to look at this site, is how do we fill it in appropriately. So I'm going to take this down and show you the exterior of what we're proposing. Obviously we're standing somewhere in the middle of Sugarloaf Street here looking at the building. And one of the first things that I did was to sort of think and look and see what were the precedents, or what could be the precedents for a 3-story building in the center of town. There are a couple of buildings, one at 6 Elm Street, one at 13 Elm Street, that have kind of a mansard look, a 2-story with a 3rd story that's kind of tucked behind a mansard roof. And then doing a little bit more digging online, I found this wonderful photo of a 19th century hotel that occupied the site across the street that apparently sadly burned down at some point in time. So there is kind of this precedent for this aesthetic that we're presenting here today. And so just to orient you a little bit, again, we're standing in Sugarloaf Street. The existing building in gray here, it's not really gray, these are the 2 buildings that for Sugarloaf. And then the Wolfies building is kind of poking out a little bit behind our building over here. We would obviously take down the entire Cumberland Farms building. And just kind of switching pages here, for the details of the site plan, please look at the at the Proterra drawings. This is really just for orientation, but the existing building kind of sits back here, tucked in very close to the Wolfies restaurant. We're proposing to move the building up to align with the Sugarloaf building, so that kind of has a presence on the streets. At the first floor, we're going to have a covered walkway, and so if I move down to the larger plan at the bottom of the page, there's be a covered walkway or porch at that ground floor level that would provide cover and access to the two commercial spaces, one on either side of a kind of a central hall that will take us to the stairwell that will take us up to the residences on the upper floors. As Tom indicated, there's going to be a total of 13 units in the building, at least as currently proposed, with a first floor fully accessible unit, and then a series of one and studio apartments on the upper floor. So moving to the second floor, which is this floor right here, we'd have a combination of 4 studios on this level, 2 one-bedrooms, and a very similar layout on the floor above that. And here they would be kind of tucked under the mansard eaves. And if I go one more page, these are sort of the flat elevation views of both of the street sides. The one to the left here, this is the view along Sugarloaf Street, and then the one to the right, that's the view along South Main Street. Again, the Wolfies building is kind of this gray mass over here. We have integrated some signage panels into the facade along Sugarloaf Street, and this is an example of one of them here on the lower left. And then again, a kind of final view of the building from kind of the street side. I don't know if folks would like to pause and ask questions at this point, or I can let other folks talk about the project. So.
And this is Rachel Blaine. I know you'll get to it, parking, so I'm not going to ask about that, but with the main accesses they're not from the front, right? They're going to be from the back?
For parking?
Main access residential.
So obviously it's a very small lot, and we will talk a little bit more about the parking, but since Jason owns both of these parcels, the expectation is that they're going to have to share parking between the two. There's really only space for 2 accessible parking places behind the building, as well as a dumpster. And then there are, I believe, I've said 16 here, but I would go by the numbers on the Proterra site plan in case I've transcribed them incorrectly.
But what I'm asking, now maybe my orientation's off, but what I'm asking is, so access is from the back of the building for residential, is it, or is it?
You have access actually from either direction.
Either direction, both.
Yeah,
I see, there it is.
there's
Okay,
an
good.
entrance
All right.
on the back, correct,
That's
and there's
correct.
another entrance on the front.
Got it, thank you.
Yep.
Now I see it.
Was that another question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, is it, I'm clear now, sorry.
Okay.
That's not just a stairwell, that's an access point as well. I see.
Correct.
Is the other an access point as well? Or is that
This one is really, it needs to be, we need a second stair. So this one would be, at least it's intended as egress only.
Yeah.
The main stair, the one in the middle will have, the mailboxes next to it.
Yeah.
A way
Yeah.
for folks to access storage in the basement and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Hi, this is Kathy Wetruba. What about lighting? Like, where is the lighting located?
Sure, there'll be some lighting located underneath the porch, and again, some lighting here at the back entrance as well. At the moment, it's intended to be kind of ceiling mounted lighting. as opposed to building mounted lighting.
And in the parking lot?
At that point, we should probably move to the Proterra drawings. And I can stop
Yep.
sharing
Maybe I'd
my
say
screen.
let's-
Yeah.
So we can put a pin in that. I don't know if you have other questions for Jonathan at
Yep.
this point. I mean, you can obviously go back and forth between and amongst. But. So Tom, we'll tee you up if you want to walk us through the site plan.
Okay, sounds good. And let's see. Am I sharing successfully there and everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Great, thanks. Good evening. This is Tom Johnson with Proterra Design Group. What I've got up here is the S2 sheet on our set site plans that have been submitted. I just wanted to note, late this afternoon, we sent in an updated set of plans. It incorporates a few more details that we worked through since the initial submittal. I'm sure you haven't had a lot of time to take a look at those, but our thought is that we get them over to you and then probably step through some of those changes to the plan set tonight, just in the interest of getting them in. But what you see here is, can you see the cursor on the screen here?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just for orientation, Sugarloaf Street is up here on the plan sheet. On this side, you've got South Main Street, and this is the corner here. The old Cumberland Farms building sat back in the lot here. And what you see here in this dark outline and this dash here is the footprint of the new proposed building. As Jonathan mentioned, it's aligned. It's intended to align with the 4 Sugarloaf Street, which is the building on this side. This right here would be the pizza place. There's within the required building setback regs, there is a section that allows you to set the building in line with the adjacent buildings, and that's what we're proposing to do here. Wolfie's is down here on this side of the lot. And what we're proposing to do is put in a small driveway between the new building and Wolfie's. As mentioned, it's got 2 handicap accessible spots off of that driveway. It's also got a place for a couple of dumpsters behind a screened fenced area. From this rear parking loading area, there's kind of a concrete sidewalk here on the rear side of the building, and allows you to enter into the back of the building, as you saw on those architectural floor plans. Just a couple of site plan kind of specific things. So right now the lot is kind of funky. It's almost, I think it's 98% of it is impervious. And the way it had functioned when Cumberland Farms was there was the pavement, basically, there wasn't curb cuts. It ran straight into the street, which is kind of a mess. So what we're proposing to do here is put in a sidewalk on these 2 sides with the curb line. And then obviously at the 4-way intersection here, we'd put an ADA ramp to allow connection with the walk paths there. This would then kind of connect back into the existing sidewalk on either on this side anyways, and then pass through the driveway and down to the frontage in front of Wolfie's down here. There are a couple other features from coming off of that sidewalk would be what we're calling pervious pavers to access the front of the building. So you'd walk along the sidewalk here to get into this front entryway and the storefronts here. There'd be a pervious paver walkway here, and also another one to get off of this sidewalk into the underneath that overhang here. Kind of down this corridor between the 2 buildings is where we'd have some utilities. That's where the existing electric and telephone service feed the buildings. And for now, that's how we propose to get in there. There is, if you've looked at the existing companies and how it's placed now, it's very close to the Wolfie's building and very close to 4 Sugarloaf. By setting it where we are, we're creating a little more space between the buildings. Gives a chance to get a little more drainage and other kind of features worked into the site design here. In terms of drainage, this is a curb line parking area that we're proposing one catch basin here to collect any of the stormwater from this parking. From that, we call it a hooded catch basin, so it would have a deep sump and a hood on it. And then this will connect into the existing stormwater system in the street. We've also got a series of rain gardens proposed. So one between South Main Street and the building. The intent here is to catch some of the roof runoff. And then from here, connect the overflow into the street system. And then two in the front to also connect some of the runoff from the front and allow that to infiltrate, and then through an under drain connect to the street system here. One thing to note is that Sugarloaf Street is a Mass DOT road. So there is some coordination and permitting required, particularly as it pertains to work within that Mass DOT right of way. That's something we're intending and planning on. It's just, it would be the piece following the planning board here. As we talked about, there are some parking requirements here. Let's see if I can find the best sheet to talk about that on. Maybe before I get there, we had a chance to submit these to the Chief Pechoric, just to kind of give a review of the plan set. He came back with a comment and had a chance to meet with him and go through the comment. His one concern was to make sure that any car coming down South Main Street was able to maintain a sight distance and see parked cars coming down or cars approaching the intersection from Sugarloaf Street. These dash lines are kind of what a traffic book tells you need to have for sight distance. Based on his input, we had some shrubs proposed on this corner. We pulled those back. We also had another parking space intended, one more closer to the intersection. We eliminated that. And what it does is it opens up the sight distance even further beyond what the traffic books say you need here. He took a look at this revised sketch, was happy with it. I think somewhere you'll see some correspondence back to him back from him to the planning board that says he's happy with the adjustments we made to the plans as a result of his comments. See if I can, these are just kind of typical detail sheets. This is an erosion control plan. Our intent would be prior to the start of construction to wrap the construction site in a silt sock, to put a silt bag in the existing catch basins at the street level, put a little bit of a construction entrance in here, just ways to control, mitigate for any erosion that may occur and limit any silt-laden runoff from the site. That's its own kind of sheet on the plan set here. Let's see if I can get back to, okay, here it is. This is the one I'm looking for. As mentioned, we're proposing 2 parking spaces behind the building. We've got a space kind of planned for 2 in front of the building here. This obviously will require coordination with DOT. And then there's an existing parking lot, which is on the other side of 4 Sugarloaf Street. And that's kind of what you see here. Yeah. That right now is a gravel parking lot. For the purposes of traffic count, or for parking space count, we kind of laid it in here and then fit standard parking spaces and came up with a parking space count. You can see we've got 2 parallel, 4, 16, and 12 here. And there are some existing dumpsters for this building that we've kind of put as a placeholder here. So from that, for 2 Sugarloaf Street, we're saying based upon the zoning that as it currently exists, there's a requirement for 40 spaces. One of the things that we talked about, and I know Jason and Justin, I think, have maybe talked about prior to submitting the application, was that because these are they're units, but the majority of them are or smaller units, studio type apartments. Um, and they have experience with these types of apartments in this area as well. Um, what they find is that generally you don't have more than one car per unit, based upon the tenants here. So if we were to take what is a 2.5 car per unit requirement in the zoning, reduce that to one car per unit, and then add in what is available on site here, what's available on the street to here, and then available off site, which would be 17 here, come up with a total available 21, which meets that 21 required if we reduce the number of spaces per apartment unit down from 2.5 to 1. So there is a relief from zoning required here.
2.5 to 1.
Correct.
Yep. So, but given that we're able to match the 21 required with the 21 at a 1 per unit count.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So is that an indicator that each living unit has one car?
Yes.
Even in
Yeah.
the bedrooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
You
have
can see that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ann Buchanan. Are there dedicated commercial space cars?
Sure. So there are 2 spots proposed right in front of the building on the street. There's also other street parking available here. There's also the Leary lot, which is on the opposite side of the intersection. So there are other available street parking spots, but yes, in that overall count, if I come back to my sheet, which I just flipped away from, in that overall count, it is the required number is taking into consideration the number required for the square footage of the retail space there.
Thank you.
I guess, so the assumption is that no couples are gonna live in a 1-bedroom apartment?
If a couple had 2 cars, then we would. If there was a situation where a couple had 2 cars, we would hope that the town would consider some of the on-street parking or the Leary lot for them to utilize those spaces. We own myriad of other property in this town, and none of those have a 2.5 per unit parking. In fact, you might have 1 car per unit, 1 parking spot per unit at most. And so our typical problems are not our tenants. There are other downtown cars parking in our parking spots, which then creates a lack of parking for us. So
These are residential, these are resident parking only, kind of resident parking only, so that it's clear that these people have someplace to park. Your tenants.
our tenants, yeah, would all be allocated
Have
one
resident
dedicated
parking.
spot per unit, right?
Yep.
Which, what I'm saying is like
Yep.
then sufficient for us
Yep.
for the other 100
Yep.
apartments we have
Yep.
downtown.
I would say there's probably also a chance that a number of folks actually don't have any cars. You're on the bus line, and these are very small studio apartment. I wouldn't say very small, but smaller studio apartments. So it's not necessarily set up for a large, more than 2 people.
Sorry, I have one more question about the parking. So I'm looking at where the ADA parking is. And I'm just curious about the access to the building from the ADA spot.
So there's 2 ADA spots right behind the building here, and access is through this
Oh.
door.
Right. So, this is Kathy Petrova, sorry. Another question about the parking.
Could
So
put your mouse right on it, Kath.
there's 2 commercial spaces. And what type of business would be in that would indicate a single parking space?
Oh, there's also some of these beyond the allocation there's only 13 units here. So as you can see, there's, 28, 32, 34 plus 2, 4, there's more there are some of these that could be, used for that,
And there is
commercials.
because of the Leary lot.
So I think the other thought and consideration that I have is that from May until September, Treehouse is rocking, literally. And so the parking is so congested in, in theory, everybody goes to Yankee Candle and they're shuttled, but really the parking in South Deerfield is jammed. There is nowhere to park or turn. And I think, for that huge span of time, that parking is a real consideration. It is just trying to go pick up a pizza. I mean, never mind like people living there trying to park and manage their own singular parking space for.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I live in town and lived here for years and certainly kind of understand your point here. One thing I didn't realize until I actually turned into here and actually went back into this parking lot, I didn't even realize that this parking was back here. And I never really thought myself, as I've looked for parking on the street, to park back there. So it does have that going for it. It's a little bit removed. I think some signage would go a long way in terms of just stipulating that this is private parking for residents only.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. So, okay, so if you're looking at both parking lots, you only need 21 spaces. What's the total space? How many spaces are there in both parking lots?
I mean, both.
Did I miss something?
So this whole area, this blue is a old lot line. So these are contiguous. So it is one big parking area here. This is, if you're familiar at all, Fisher's is here. They have a fence, kind of paved parking lot back in this area here. And then this is on this side is the Polish Club over here. This is Wolfie's kind of.
So,
But within the red outline, you're saying
Yep.
so it's like there's 16 and 12 and 4 and 2.
okay. So is that parking lot utilized by other businesses? Because you said that you guys own the
They own 4
building at the
Sugarloaf.
floor. And
Yes.
so how many spaces are taken during the day? Is it just during the day? Okay,
6 spaces.
okay. And so I just have a question of Alex, if you know this. How many spaces are in the Leary lot? And then also there are spaces for the apartments in the back. So do you know how many are utilized there? Because I know making the assumption that people can park in the Leary lot may not be a good assumption.
Mhm.
Say though it's empty right now, so that's just a good.
I'm sorry, what's empty?
I drove by on the way in, it was empty, so it was like one of those situations where like our lot was full,
Mhm.
but the Larry lot doesn't get a lot of use on this side at least.
Okay.
So there's definitely like a lot of potential there that I think. that
Maybe they're
people
all
are-
out on the town.
What's that?
Maybe they're all out on the town.
Could just be down and stuff.
I don't know.
What's that one?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the counts were, but I'm pretty sure there are upwards of 55 parking spaces and not including the accessible parking spaces in the Leary lot. But we don't have any true data on like usability, but I've gone over there quite a lot to take photos for our Elm Street project and trying to do murals for LCC and stuff. And I'd say I don't think I've ever seen it like 50% full, not even close.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like maybe more than 10 cars there?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
okay.
Even with full downtown.
Yeah.
We own 55 North Main Street.
Hi.
Yeah, that gets jam-packed with cars. And the Leary lot could be, yeah, sorry, I'm done.
Can I just add something to this lot that goes down in the back? People don't park there because it's a weird parking lot. I mean, it's dark and it's crappy. The ground is not very good. You can't even identify parking space. Like, I personally would not park down there.
That's great.
Like, I wouldn't.
It's for the residents.
It is
But
not,
also lighting, that would be one thing.
yes,
concern that-
that's what I'm getting to. It's not a great.
Hello.
Hello.
I
Is-
think it's just.
Hi.
Is there someone online who needs to be on mute? Hmm? Oh, thank you. Okay.
Is the intent to keep it gravel?
Yes. The intent, talking like speculatively down the road, may be to stretch the development, at some point in time further down to like look at potential redevelopment for 4 to 6 Sugarloaf as well. So, I don't really see any point to pour a ton of money into, that back lot if we're gonna revisit that within the near future. So we would obviously make it safe and usable to the fullest extent, but try not to overspend where we don't have to.
Well, our concern with that is flooding in South Deerfield. I mean, it's in so many years, it's going to be pretty critical. I mean, a lot. I think, and I don't know the exact how many years from now we've projecting it at some point, if we don't do anything, it's going to be 16 inches of water throughout South Deerfield. So that's a big concern. And also, if we do parking lots, we're really looking for pavement. Yeah, it's a little more upkeep, but if you look at the Leary lot on a rainy day, and then you look at the bank next door, there's no water in the Leary lot. Pooling on the bank parking lot, so that's just a consideration.
The parking exists though right now.
Yeah.
So we're not looking to change that.
Okay, that's
Just
good.
to be clear.
Okay, so, all right.
If there's not any more questions on the site plans here, I'll stop sharing my screen and kind of hand it back over.
I do have some questions.
Oh, we're not open for public comment yet.
Right.
But I have, how much paving are we adding? Can you answer that, Tom?
Paving, you're saying?
How much paving are we adding? Like what,
Yep.
I mean, the site is already got pavement on it, and I think this is what the applicant was just pointing to, is that they're not changing
Yep.
a lot of the pervious nature of the spot. So that's what I
Yeah, actually, it's a good question, and it's also something I forgot to kind of step through. One of the other things that we submitted late today was the Town of Deerfield Stormwater Permit worksheet.
Yep.
And I will answer the pavement question here. We stepped through this because of the size of the lot, which is around 9,000 square feet. We're under the threshold required to go through the stormwater permit process with the town. So this just documents that we're under that 12,500 square foot threshold. But we did put together a little memo at the end of this checklist here. Somewhere in here. So the existing site is currently 98% impervious. They have ripped up the old tanks and that's gravel now, but historically that's all been paved and impervious. The proposed improvements will reduce the impervious area by about 2,614 square feet. So that puts us
at 70% coverage.
Yeah, and that's an important threshold. It's a zoning threshold. So we're hitting that and intentionally hitting that by limiting. That's part of the reason why you saw some of those pervious pavers in there, and just kind of some of the square footage of the parking layout to make sure we hit that 70% maximum coverage.
Terrific. Thank you.
So essentially, it's moving onto the existing parking lot, right? Like it's just shifting. And
Yeah.
right now, the abutting building is a 2-story, and this is a proposed 3-story. So it's changing the sight line on that corner.
Yes, and it's actually an overall reduction in the amount of impervious on that corner. So in terms of concern with stormwater, one of the main drivers in the rate of stormwater runoff from the site is the amount of impervious. And we're going from almost 100% and cutting that back, we are incorporating some low impact developments, like I kind of stepped through with the rain gardens around the perimeter into the design, even though we're not hitting into that stormwater permit requirement.
So I have a question. It says this is a new development or redevelopment project and it's marked no. So what is it classified as if it's neither of those?
So this we went around in the office going, what the heck does this sheet mean here? If you look at number E and says, well, if you're commercial and you're under 12,000 square feet, you say no. And what we finally realized is you had to go into the definitions here, and redevelopment is defined as any construction, alteration, transportation, or improvement exceeding land disturbance of 12,500 square feet, where the existing land use is commercial. So it's saying if you were to be called redevelopment, it has to be more than 12,500 square feet. And in this case, we're below that 12,500 square foot. So no, a new development would be, if I understand this right, and I think Ben from my office is on here, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think new development would be it's a treed, undeveloped lot that you're starting from scratch.
Okay, so because you're under 12,500 square feet, it does not fit the definition of redevelopment. And
Yeah.
because there's already development there, it's not a new development because you're removing development.
Yeah.
It doesn't start off at a development. Okay.
Right.
All right, that's tricky. Okay, good. Thank you.
That went through us. We had to,
Okay.
took us a little sorting to figure that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we should,
Update our form.
yeah, update our form.
Understand the distinction, because it sets it in, this is what I was saying before, it sets it in a bigger, like a bigger spot.
Like-
Sorry, it sets the project at in a more, significant impact. So
Yep.
anyway, but we might put it a better way to make it clearer what we're aiming for there.
I have another question. Do we know the date of the build of that original Cumberland Farms? I mean, just curious what you're like digging up and getting rid of, that's all.
I mean, it's already been tested for brownfields, I think,
yeah.
when the
Okay.
tanks were
Yeah, yeah,
taken
yeah.
out.
Tanks
So
were
that
taken
they
out.
know.
Correct.
Take it out.
Thanks for,
Okay, good.
yeah, groundwater
I know
monitor.
one, yes, but I, that's right, I wasn't thinking about the tanks being taken out and already having that. Okay.
The assessor's card says, built about 1950, but
Okay.
it is cleared by DEP,
Okay, good.
everything, so. 1950, but it says built about, which is kind of odd language.
We were iffy in the 1950s, apparently.
Okay, all right. Makes sense. Do you have other questions? Do you want me to, ready to open it up?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll open it up to public comment. So if you could stop sharing the screen, that would be great. All right, so
Want to
public
set a
comment.
time limit on public comment?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
set a 2-minute time limit. I'll track it on my phone,
Yeah.
which can be annoying. I'm sorry, it's loud.
That's okay.
But if folks who want to comment publicly, can use the hand raising feature on Zoom, that would be appreciated.
And if you can't figure out the hand raising feature, just raise your hand and wave it. I see one in the upper left.
Lily.
Ms. Dwight, question?
Yeah, I was wondering, with our stretch code, there is a requirement for wiring for EV up to 20%. And I'm wondering how that's going to be accommodated in your parking situation. Thank you.
Maybe I'll turn it over to Jonathan. Is that something that you want to talk about as far as the code requirements?
I have to admit, I was not thinking about that ahead of tonight, but we can do a little research on that and
Yeah,
get
and I
back
mean,
to
if
you.
it's a requirement, then
Then we're going to be doing it.
It's a
gonna be
requirement.
some percentage of that
Yeah.
that number in the back, more than likely.
Thank you.
I mean, that's one of the basic requirements, as is having a solar-ready roof. So, okay. All right. Okay. So that would be one of the condition, well, I mean, it shouldn't be a condition because it's already in. So that would have
Right,
to
it'd
be
be part of
added
the building permit
if you don't-
process.
You don't already have that. Okay. All right. Other questions? Seemed like someone had a question earlier. Sounded like a gentleman, no?
Hi,
Hello?
this is working. Hi. So I really have a question about the parking.
Okay, what's your question?
So if there's 13 units, and I get it, there's part of them are a studio, but in a one-bedroom apartment, there would be more than one parking space needed for a couple, most likely. So I don't see that the parking accommodates that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of different points here. I think first, based on Justin and Jason's experience, one parking space per unit in this configuration is going to be sufficient. Two, this is probably the best project that they can design for the space, given all the constraints. So it's a little bit of a balance where to get this 3-story building with commercial on the first floor and 13 units, they designed it this way in order to make sure that there were at least the 13 parking spaces. Then there's additional 8 plus for Sugarloaf, right? So there's going to be, and we haven't even started talking about, I mean, I know you all did public parking, but also public transportation. So I think part of this is doing it at their risk, understanding what the market forces are, because this is going to be real money that they're putting in there. And I don't think they would do it if they thought the units wouldn't be filled, or the commercial spaces wouldn't be filled. So some of this is a little bit of a request for discretion for the owners who are actually doing this development. But to directly answer the question, yeah, one per unit we think is sufficient. And then there's other parking on-site and off-site if a couple were to have 2 vehicles.
And when does snow plowing come into effect with that? You know, I don't know about the public parking with snow plowing. I understand that the private parking.
You're
I guess I don't know what the question is.
Are you asking about who's going to plow the parking lots?
Not just the private parking lots, but the public parking lots that people are going to be parking in.
Well, the public parking lots are taken care of by the town. The private parking lots are taken care of by the individuals that own, the owners.
Correct. But so when a snowstorm happens and people need to move their cars for all that to happen, what's the outcome there?
I mean, I would expect that the people would move their cars to allow it to happen.
I think
Okay.
I think we've hit the time limit on this one. Are there other questions? Lily,
No, I'm all set.
okay, thank you. Lily, is that another question?
Yes, it is. It's a quick one. I'm curious, what is the square footage on the studios and the 1 bedrooms? Because I couldn't see that on the plans. Thank you.
Sure, they vary in size a little bit. The studios are in the 400 square foot range, and the 100 bedrooms are in the 720 square foot range.
Thank you.
Studio for me. I'm sorry. 400. Thank you.
Sorry, do you need me to repeat that again?
400 and 700 is what I heard.
407 and 720.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Swedlin, you have a question?
Well, this might be MA, but yes.
Okay.
What type of heating are you planning on putting in? Are you planning on using propane or are you planning on using mini splits?
While we haven't gotten, that far necessarily to have a definitive plan, my expectation would be, given the codes at the moment, that it's probably going to be an all-electric building. So yes, mini splits.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions? Online? No? I'm going to take your hand down, Mr. Swedlin, or MA. Unless you have another question. No? Okay. Yep. No? I don't know. All right. How about anyone in the audience? Gentleman in the back? Is that a no? Okay. Okay. You're with the band?
No,
Megan's our presenter.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. All right. So if there's no other public comment. No?
Can I ask another? So this is Kathy Wetruba. So how come so many studios?
Most of these for rent, like smaller studios, will end up with like 100 inquiries, to be honest. Many of which don't have cars, public transportation. I mean, there's a major housing shortage, so people are looking for kind of lower priced units, I would say. So that's part of it, high demand.
And that is a bus route that's accessing Amherst as well.
Mhm.
So there could be students coming from Amherst.
Are you expecting students primarily?
No.
No.
We don't have any currently, but
But I don't
grad
mean
students.
like
Yeah,
18-year-olds. I mean, yeah, graduate students.
we have some grad students, young professionals.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's spreading, like it used to just be Northampton, Amherst, but I think that students are accessing some of these communities now that are further out.
So what is your experience as it relates to these studios and Airbnb and subletting and this type of sort of in and out of communities?
They're not so much out. We don't have a ton of turnover like the 55 North Main Street building. We've had people in studios for 6 years, believe it or not. So it's not like, you're picturing like 300 square feet, like, oh my God, like they're nice, like they're high end.
They are. I mean,
washer, dryer, everything.
they used to be called efficiencies, and we've turned it into the term studio, right?
Yeah.
Gentrifying. We're just gentrifying like
And you're
what
gonna
was once,
Do some
what
cool
my
painting or
mom rented out in our
Great.
house in Northampton for, additional income.
But we screen everyone. We've taken pride in trying to bring the right types of tenants into town and, that sort of thing.
Do you have rules around Airbnb and short-term rentals?
here. You need to
Mic-
say that right on the mic because that's a
Microphone.
be very.
Yeah, our lease would specify that the property is not able to be subletted. So a tenant could not rent a unit and then turn around and rent it as an Airbnb. So, or sublet. Yeah. So.
And how do you monitor that? I mean, it's great. I'm glad to hear that, actually. But how do you monitor that?
We do quarterly unit checks, but like we would know.
Yeah.
This one is so prominent, I would imagine.
Yeah, we
I
would
mean,
know.
clearly you want your properties to be well
Yeah.
maintained and
Right.
you don't want the
And
transient in and out.
I think
Yeah.
they're great questions, but I think it's beyond our
Okay.
purview. So our scope.
I mean, it could lend itself to a variety of things, right? Like parking and
Right.
cars and who's in the community and safety and,
Yeah.
so we're looking at the safety of the visual at the intersection, but like we could span that out a little bit. So thank you. That was a great response.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at this point, if there are no other questions from the public, then do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
Yeah, I'll move to close the public hearing. Yes.
Second,
All right. Roll
Rachel
call?
Lane, aye.
Emily Gaylord, aye.
Kathy Wetruba, aye.
Ann Buchanan, aye.
And Denise Mason, aye. So public hearing is closed, so no other questions from the public, and now planning board will deliberate. Any questions?
I think you've done a great job. I appreciate it. It's beautiful.
Microphone.
This is Kathy Latroba. It's an eyesore. I walk it every single day. It's just a nightmare. It's just a mess. And it does not do our town any justice. And I appreciate the work that you're putting into it. And it's a lot of work, and it's your time and investment. And I'm thankful for that. I think the parking is the only sort of, I just know what can happen in this community from May to September. There is a Treehouse concert, and this is not about Treehouse. This is not a referendum on Treehouse, but it is a parking just challenge. And I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but it is definitely worth the conversation.
Yeah.
I think my question mark around parking, and I echo everything you just said, is because it's a gravel lot, people are notoriously bad at parking in
Yeah.
gravel lots. And so it is an ideal circumstance to have this many spaces, but I think you will have some work to do with signage and some sort of layout to ensure that those are actually parking spots, because yeah,
Parking spots for the tenants.
for the tenants, the people who live there, right?
Well, I think that's something that we can put in conditions.
On your other properties, do you have parking spots numbered?
We could, yeah, parking passes. For sure, it's something that we could do.
I mean, it protects the tenant, but it also, it makes sure that they have their parking spot, and it lets others
Sure.
understand
Mhm.
it's not free for all. And people come out of town and they really don't care. They're going to park wherever they're going to park, because they're going to park the first place they can. And so I think that might be something
Right.
that would help protect the tenant
Yeah.
and that space.
And those people can also be towed away too. So,
I mean, amen for that they come in and they're part of our community, and I think that's really great, but it gets super congested, and it's just by September, it's a lot. That's all.
unfortunately, I think that's the case in a lot of towns during busy seasons. It's just,
Well, thank goodness for busy seasons.
I don't
I
know.
would also like to thank you for your attention to, Proterra for the attention to the water
Yeah.
and the site plan relative to stormwater, even if you are under the threshold. I think that the steps that you've taken to try to mitigate what is just a big old slab of concrete and make sure that there's an opportunity for water to go where it needs to go. So appreciate that. And I am, interested in what you do down the road. I think that, keeping a track of this, of what further developments
Yeah.
you make as you go along is a great start.
And I think everyone's pretty excited to get rid of the beautiful building that's there right now. That great parking lot. And plus you're taking down that, whatever that was, that big, sign. Yeah.
He wants to do it all this year, so we want to.
That was my, yeah. Do you have a timeline for construction or, given?
We
Given-
could potentially break ground before year's end if we were granted permission and could get through the delay
Permitting.
period. Yeah.
Okay. I know in the site visit last week, you talked about when I was there, a whole bunch of people were in there, using it as a parking lot. So had you thought about roping that off?
Yeah. If
Okay.
basically this is just how it is, right? Like we're ready to go. So if we get the official permission, we will put up construction fencing, pull the trigger to start demolition, and really get things underway. We have committed a substantial amount of money to this project already, just on a whim. Everybody who you see here today is not here just in good faith.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to be
Except
here.
for Tom.
And
I know Tom does.
the plans that you saw that look great are extremely, extremely expensive. So we, have made a serious commitment here, and that's just like a display of, you know, kind of how we do business, you know, so we're out on a limb. We've been asked a lot of times about this kind of blight in the center of town. It took a lot of negotiations with Cumberland Farms. I think that no one else has stepped up to the plate for a reason. And again, we've got a great attorney who worked really hard with Cumberland Farms to lift a lot of serious regulate, you know, like stipulations that they had, and it was a battle. And so we've put together what we think is like kind of the best we can do, so to speak, right? And I think that our reputation speaks for itself. We don't have a lot of problematic tenants. We don't have problems with parking at other properties. We're very hands-on managers. I live in town. Justin lives nearby. We have a reputation to uphold, and this is important to us. So I don't think that you're going to see anything go in a negative direction from this. I think it'll only be the opposite. I think this is going to be like the start to kind of the belle of the ball of town. So
Imagine you've got business interest already in those two spaces.
we do, yeah. And I know there was questions about what goes in for commercial space, but again, like we can't really put the cart ahead of the horse as far as getting people committed to a building that doesn't exist yet. So
Yeah.
this is like the first step for us. There's been open dialogue between other businesses, but you know, once we get permission, then we can kind of seek tenants out from there.
Well,
So
I'm sure the eyes of the town will be watching.
I'm
for
sure you're
Well, they won't
right.
be able to help that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you're right. Yeah.
I actually have a quick question, and it's more of a curiosity for Alex. If we're redoing the common and the crosswalks, how does that intersect with this project, if at all?
Well, we've shared that a couple times and discussed that. But yeah, I mean, it'll come into play, but it honestly probably be a lot better because that whole Sugarloaf will not be an entrance, so there won't be vehicles coming in and out of there. Like, honestly, this is probably a much better option than what we had.
This could all look very good in a year.
Yeah. Well, and even in their site plans, they did put like, you know, to match the Complete Streets project, like some of the detailing and stuff. And so, I mean, honestly, theirs might go first. So I guess we'll see. But we'll try to match and, you know, make it look cohesive. That's the whole intent of the Complete Streets.
Well, and to add on to what Alex just said, I mean, since it is state-owned, until that decision has been made as to what happens with Sugarloaf and Park Street, they're not going to be putting in any crosswalks. So probably if you guys get this done and before that happens, that'll be perfect timing.
Yeah.
And we are all in favor of more housing in Deerfield.
Yes.
So.
All right.
See, she insists on calling them efficiency to her. Oldest school.
I grew up in Northampton, and what it was and what it is kind of challenging for me. So yes, I do go back to some older terms.
Well, yeah.
Places that we found are what you're describing. So like
Mhm.
we walked in, but it's amazing the small space what you can do. And
Sure.
nice appliances and great counters.
Be great to get a tour too before you open it up.
Yeah.
We'd really like that. Maybe some
Well,
snacks, you know.
Yeah.
How about we vote?
Yeah, I think that's probably a really good idea. So
We
let's-
have proposed conditions.
Yeah, we do propose conditions, and I think, yeah, I mean, Amy will probably,
They're pretty basic.
Yeah.
There are what we generally do. Do you want
Right.
me to read them or we'll let those guys read them?
okay.
It's just about obtaining permits and what's required to actually to complete the project, pre-construction meetings.
Okay. And Amy, I would like to put in to make sure that there is, which I'm assuming they're going to do, proper signage for reserved parking for tenants, to make sure that's in there, and some way of delineating the parking spaces.
And we do have a bylaw around commercial signage. I'm sure that this meets the bylaw,
Yeah.
but just
Yes,
to
it
note that
does.
that exists.
Okay.
Also, we want to put in about attending to the stretch code.
Yes.
Yeah, the stretch code, the stretch code
Adhering to the stretch code.
for
Here to code.
right.
I'm sorry. So one of the conditions is that they have to adhere to all code.
All codes.
So if the
we're-
stretch code
but
is a
I
code,
guess we
they
want
all,
to be sure.
it's
maybe we-
already in there.
Yeah. Okay, but since we're seeing it without that, I mean, we just want to be sure that somehow that, can we, I guess, put a pin in it and say, we want to be sure that we're included on communications around the compliance. Thank you.
Yes.
That's the word I was looking for.
Compliance with stretch code.
Compliance with,
Yeah.
yeah. With,
That would be great.
solar ready roof and the.
And I think that's where the things like EV spaces and
EV
things like that.
spaces.
will
Right.
need to be-
The EV spaces too,
And
it's
this-
20%, it's up from 10% from 2024.
So EV spaces are part of the stretch code?
Yes, yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay.
Well, I mean, they don't have to be installed, it just has to be pre-wired
Subbed out.
for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's, if it's in the code, they have to do it.
Right.
Okay,
It's just not,
all right, okay.
No, not yet, but I'm going to. I will make a motion that we, want to get this right, that we are approving the site plan review for number 2 Sugarloaf Street. That's Rachel Blaine.
Emily Gaylord, second,
All right, put it to a vote.
with proposed conditions.
With proposed conditions. And identifying our hope for, further communication from our own offices. So I'm Rachel Blaine. I vote in favor of this
Okay.
project.
Emily?
Emily Gaylord, yes.
Kathy Wetruba, yes?
Ann Buchanan, yes.
And Denise Mason, yes. So, congrats.
Well, that just puts you that much closer. Everybody who's building things right now.
It's terrible. I know.
You're,
Moving target, yeah.
No,
but good luck.
Do it quick.
Yeah.
things will
I
change
think
fast.
the,
Please take some Halloween candy.
the town is excited. I know. So,
Good, yeah.
well done.
That's a beautiful design.
It
It's
is.
really nice.
Jonathan did a great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, thank
Worth
you.
every penny.
All these guys worked hard to get this done, so, yeah,
Thank you.
All right.
so.
Sarah, can I just ask a quick procedural question there?
Yep.
It's a site plan approval, but then also approval, isn't there a special permit for the parking quantity?
Oh.
Was it not on there?
We don't have it. I hear you and I agree, but we don't have it on our. Amy?
I think it was in the advertisement.
We
I
don't
think.
have the application for special permitting. And I wondered about that because, while we all feel like parking is sufficient, or I do, while I feel that the parking is sufficient, we don't have any paperwork about a special permitting for parking change.
We come back on
So we'll see you again when you come back.
What do you think?
Do you have a copy of in the advertisement for it? I think it did advertise for.
I'm the one who wrote it. I don't think I did that, no. I said site plan review. That's my bad. No, it was for site plan review.
Are you sure?
Not in the paper, right?
Going through one page at a time. They'll have to come back for their special permit for parking, right?
I apologize. I did not see that.
I don't think you're gonna have a problem, but
If we've,
we don't have it.
okay.
That'll take it to
No,
next year.
nobody's mentioned it
No.
now. I mean, I guess it was on the application, but
Well, that is, we asked the question before we closed the meeting, we voted,
Mhm.
and we continued the
But
meeting
I
from
think
here.
that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
is it? No, I thought it was, it's a zoning board special permit or?
that's it. You know, All right, well, can we reopen the meeting?
Yeah, we can.
Reopen the hearing? Can we? Yeah.
Or maybe I have to move that we reopen the meeting.
Oh, Emily Gaylord second.
Vote.
You want to call for a vote? Yeah, I'm making a motion, we reopen the meeting.
Yeah, and I seconded.
And, so I vote yes. I vote yes, we reopen the meeting. to
Reopen the hearing.
Consider the hearing. The hearing, not the meeting. Thank you, the hearing. Okay, so we've reopened it to address the parking, which is our purview. That is in our purview. So what we're doing is offering a special permit.
Was that a motion to reopen the hearing?
Yes, we need to vote on that motion before we talk
Yeah,
about it.
Okay, so
Do you second the
I'm,
motion?
I second the motion.
okay, and I'm voting in favor of that.
And Emily Gaylord is also voting in favor of that.
And Kathy Wetruba is voting in favor of that. Also, Amy Buchanan in favor.
And Denise Mason.
Okay.
Okay.
Now.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Did you submit an application?
Tom? Watching the ballgame.
No, just what you have there. But I do think that what was advertised in the newspaper was inclusive of the, I'm just trying to find that as we're talking here. But inclusive of the site plan review for the set of plans and also the special permit for the parking considerations.
In the Greenfield Recorder, is that?
Yeah.
It was. News.
No, my iPad stuff. Get our, are you looking at our
Emily's,
bylaws?
yeah,
Oh,
Emily's
you're
looking,
looking
no,
too.
Emily's looking at it.
No, I'm trying to find the newspaper.
Yeah, it's,
But I also want to look at our. Well, I mean, not the bylaws, but the regulations. So what we're looking at, because the regulations are that, what are the regulations that we would be giving a special permit for? Let me.
I do. So this, okay, so these are, I don't know.
Here you go. That's what it is. Here you go. In front of you. Did you
Okay.
find it?
What, yeah,
No,
that Alex.
It says the table of parking requirements.
I don't know.
Parking spaces.
No, just site plan.
Retail.
I would have remembered that.
Breakfast is one per city room. So.
It says a special permit application pending, no.
Per unit for single family. And this is the point. And, three spaces for single family, but none of these. So here's my question. And Alex, this is for you, maybe you can, so in our bylaw, in our regs, and Tom, I don't know, you've looked at these as much too, in our regs. So when we say the principal usage in general retail, okay? So we've got enough for general retail because it's 250 square feet of gross, so that's 2 in the front, boom, done. Right? More or less. So then the problem is that our parking, it goes on, the closest thing in a way is beds and breakfast, one per sleeping room. Because that's probably the closest equivalent, really. Otherwise, it says dwellings, which this is not a dwelling. And then it says.
The dwelling.
Multifamily,
Yeah, okay, but 2 spaces per unit for single family.
Bob, are you there? Do you have any thoughts on this,
guess
whether
I'm
they
just
need a
looking-
special permit for parking?
It's saying 2 spaces per unit dwelling for multifamily, but that doesn't.
Well, it's not a multifamily and
Right.
it's not a typical.
I guess we just don't have, we don't have an apartment.
Yeah.
Like, and I think Justin and Jason are pointing out.
Let's get Bob's thoughts and
Okay,
see
good.
the.
Bob.
Well, I don't have the parking regs in front of me, so I think Rachel might be on to more on it, reading it. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
Like if it says per sleeping room, then that's a different way of looking at it than per unit.
So it also says for general retail, 1 per 250 square feet.
So they have two retails.
We have that.
Right.
That should be.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
the
included in the
retail space.
count. It's it's the unit.
The dwellings are 1.
Yeah.
2 spaces per dwelling unit for single family, 2 spaces per dwelling unit for multifamily, plus 0.5 space per unit for visitors.
And that's where we have 2.5 required per unit, and we're saying we would like to reduce that to 1 based upon.
And that's why you need a special permit.
Yes.
The special permit would be for the reduction in parking requirement.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have an application for that. I don't know how.
No special permit application was submitted.
Can we condition it that if they get their special permit application in within a certain time frame?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, of course you can. I mean, I don't even think you. I mean, you don't
We're
even.
not
But you don't
talking to
even
you.
need to, right? Because I think we'd be. First of all, I want to say I appreciate Rachel's thought here, because if you did take the 1 per 250 plus the 1 per bedroom, then we are in complete compliance, right? And so.
And it is a logical, that is a A to B to C. But I do think if we condition it based on a submittal of a special permit affirming that there are parking spaces available for both the retail and the dwelling spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also put another pin in it, because you guys have other apartments in town. We've just had this whole conversation already. Those were permitted. So
I think it's just a timing issue on this side, right? So then, like, obviously apply.
an existing a precedent in that regard. So I think if we were able to put it in as a condition, I think if we were able to put it in as a condition that this, no?
If they're coming back for a special permit anyway, you can hold this open and do both at the same time. I mean, nothing's, if they have to get a special permit for this.
Well, this was in lieu of coming back to get a special permit. And I also look at the bylaw, and I think that this bylaw probably needs to be updated, because it's saying unit for single family. And I don't know whether I would consider this just a typical single family. Usually single family is a house.
Or at
So
least
I-
a 1 bedroom, it's never.
Yeah,
Well, we need an apartment clause in
Right,
our
right.
This is what this is getting at.
And we,
well, yeah, I think it should be.
I mean, could we come back on Monday? How long will the permit process take?
it shouldn't be that long at all. She has to post it, that's all.
Yeah, so if they apply for a special permit, if enough of us can come as a quorum next Monday, could we get this through for them?
Oh, no.
2 weeks?
Yeah, special permits, at least 14 days of publication, and then there's a
Right,
30-day
right,
appeal
right,
period
right.
associated with that.
I thought it was,
No, it's fine. I didn't, the special permit was?
no,
No.
okay.
No, I couldn't find it.
So there's no way to mitigate this tonight?
Just real quick,
Unless
Amy,
there's
do
a
you have?
building inspector determination that his interpretation of the zoning bylaw is similar to what we've been talking about, where it's not required to come back through for that dwelling unit, right? So if he says, and I've just talked to both of them, and I think they're okay with that, and saying, if you make the determination that in this instance that is, building commissioner's interpretation as applied here, no special permit is in fact required, you give them the approval, they go off. If you don't, then we're talking about, 2-3 Thursdays from now, which is, I don't know if we're Thanksgiving yet, but pretty close to it. And then
Mondays.
Monday.
Monday. Oh, but you have to get it in by Thursday. Right. So the Monday after Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving,
right?
yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's a 20-day appeal period. And so we're in December, and I mean, you don't know when the snow's going to fly or the ground's going to
Yeah.
freeze. So
I think what I'm concerned, I'm just saying it out loud. I really want this to get through. I also want us to just be very careful because if we set precedent
Yeah.
and then someone else is coming in with mixed use apartment
Yeah.
buildings and they want us to expedite a special
Yep.
permit. So just to say it out loud.
Amy, real quick, could you just check, do you have access to the advertisement that was posted in the Greenfield Recorder?
The paper should be in the kitchen right behind you.
Yes,
it-
I do. It's, no one submitted a special permit application. I wrote the ad. It does not have special permit in there.
And if it takes 2 weeks, today's already Monday, so you've got to wait till next Monday. Right?
She would have to submit, so
Submit it now,
we'd
but
submit it tomorrow, right? And then Thursday, you'd have to let the paper know for, you know, it would have to be the Monday, I think you said after Thanksgiving.
our next,
Your next meetings.
our next meeting is December 2nd,
Submit.
December 1st.
December
Oh.
1st?
Your next meeting is
The 20
December 1st.
The 24th would be, I think, the earliest if you published it Monday, the 10th. The 24th would be the earliest that you could hear it.
Yeah.
Of November, correct.
Yes. I could get notice in for the 24th if folks could make a meeting on the 24th.
I may be in, wearing crutches because I'm planning on doing Monty's March. So I don't know if I can walk, but you know, if
The
you can roll.
24th we're looking
I
at,
don't know.
Monday.
Monday, the 24th. I can make Monday, the 24th.
Or maybe I'm not walking till the next day.
What's that?
Why do I have the 17th in here too?
Could
Dan,
do
can you
it
the 24th?
Friday, the 21st, if that's easier. I said you
Friday.
could do a Friday, like the Friday before. I don't know if a Friday meeting sounds good. I know.
I mean, I will do it. Yes, that's, yeah.
That Monday's open. I already looked, yeah.
Yeah, we could do a Zoom.
I would go in on Zoom.
You'll do a Zoom?
Maybe. Yeah, I'll try another. Andrea will do it.
Okay. Can we do a Zoom? Okay. So when can we do this? I mean, give
The
us
20
dates.
Well, some of this hinges on an application getting in, right?
So
Okay.
Yeah.
it has to be submitted.
And you-
So if I got some kind of.
So
Friday.
can't we vote this contingent and then we don't only have to
Probably
do
get
that
notice
one
until
thing?
Friday the 7th, 14th.
Continue the whole thing? Yeah, so we're all good with this. We just need to vote on the special permit. That's all. Perfect.
Yeah, the 21st or the 24th, you know, I'm sorry. I probably could get something for the 21st.
Perfect. Let's do it.
If you guys want to meet on the Friday, or you could go to the following Monday. It's up to you.
I mean, I really want to make this work for you all, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to make the 21st work by Zoom.
We can do a Zoom on the 21st. At what time? Does it have to be 6:30? We could do it earlier.
Whatever time you guys decide, I'll put it in the paper and you guys.
Do you have flexibility anytime?
Okay, so let's just take a,
Drop poll?
what time is good for everyone? I know
Hold
it's
on,
not a
let
great
me-
time, but
Let me look at, I gotta just check with my work schedule.
5 o'clock? Zoom.
Zoom.
Just do Zoom. Total Zoom.
I
I
will
just want to
make
take a
it-
quick check on my, where I have written down the deadlines for the Greenfield Recorder. I want to make sure before we commit to this that this is doable. So give me 2 seconds to look at my office.
Check, my work schedule, but I could probably do something earlier.
We apologize for the delay.
And for what it's worth, if we could wrap up the site plan.
We just did.
Oh, did you? So that's fine. So you're not going to change anything? Okay, great, good. Just for financing purposes here, so we can
Yeah,
have
so
the conversation
what
with the
we're-
bank.
so what we are trying to make happen is that on the 21st, likely, that seems to be the earliest, that we can just get on a virtual meeting and just vote this through as quickly as possible.
Okay.
All right. All right. All right. Good, good, good.
Great rain.
I know. I can do it.
I can do it.
I can do it. You can do it. Okay, so
We've got a quorum.
Yeah.
Did we get an answer?
Okay, so
Is that going to work, Amy?
Yes, yes, I can do
21st?
that. And what I'm going to do to make sure this is legal, to technically to
yeah.
reopen the hearing,
Yeah.
I'm gonna notice both the site plan review and the special permit hearing, because
this will be a continuance.
you technically, you closed the hearing and you're not supposed to take any,
We reopened it, right?
now.
All right.
We can talk, but we'll,
Okay.
yeah, we'll get this, yeah.
Okay.
So we will notify a time, like, so.
I would say I think maybe we just close the site plan review tonight, so they have an affirmative vote on record, like you already did.
Okay.
And we just move on knowing that we need to accept a special permit for a parking waiver.
Okay.
And that will be noticed
Yep.
on this Friday for a continuation on Friday, the 21st at 5 o'clock via Zoom.
Yes.
Let me put that in right now.
Okay. So do we?
So I don't think you ever voted on the motion to approve the site plan. You had the motions and the second, so I think you need to vote on that.
Yeah.
They
I have-
did,
I
did
have
they?
this approved.
Oh,
We're done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
5 minutes.
My memory's shot.
So we're done, but we reopened the meeting.
And it's now being
Which you
continued.
technically can't do.
Okay.
So can we just unpack why are we reopening the meeting?
We're not,
So
we're
we're
not.
gonna
You,
open a
you
new
have,
one for
you,
site plan.
Right.
your site plan review is approved. Now we're doing, you'll apply for a special permit, I believe.
Separate meeting.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't understand why we're reopening anything. Okay, now you'll close, okay. As long as there's closure to it, I just,
To close it again? Okay.
I move we close the hearing
you.
and finally.
Do I hear a second?
Thank you. I second.
Okay, roll call.
Yes, Rachel.
Yes, Emily.
Yes, Kathy Wetruba.
Yes.
And yes, Denise Mason. All right, so.
thank you. See you by Zoom soon.
See you at Zoom. You'll get the info sent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so someone can send me something tomorrow so that I can do that in the paper. We'll be good. Okay.
Maybe like now.
Okay, we'll talk about this later. All right. All right, well,
Thanks,
that
Tom.
was, yes, thank you. And
Thanks, Tom.
thanks, Bob. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone. And that was a lot of fun, but the fun continues with the FERCog presentation. And
Hello, everybody. I'm Megan Rhodes. I work for the Franklin Regional Council of Governments. I was here back in the summer to talk about the accessory dwelling unit bylaws or regulations that the state has done. And we talked a little bit about what that might mean for Deerfield. And some of that was, well, what's your current zoning and how could that potentially impact potential accessory dwelling units here in town? So we kind of tabled our discussion just so we could do some analysis to let you know how that could impact or what yours and how does your zoning reflect your current existing conditions. So we have a memo in your packets, I believe, that summarizes some analysis that we did, and I'll talk about it real quickly here tonight. I can go in as much detail as you want, or just stay kind of an overview, and you guys can delve into it a little bit more on your own time if you'd like. But so we looked at 3 types of analysis of your zoning. The first is the dwelling units here in town, your current sizes of your dwelling units. The reason we looked at that was because under the new Affordable Homes Act, they say that accessory dwelling units can be no larger than 900 square foot or half of the gross floor area of the principal dwelling unit. And so whatever smaller. And so if you have homes that are under 1,800 square feet, your principal dwelling, and someone wants to create an accessory dwelling unit, then that must be half of that size. So what we want to do is get a better understanding of what exists here in town and how large could accessory dwelling units be. And so if, Alex, if you want to switch to page 2, yeah, there's a table, we did a breakdown of all parcels here in town, and it shows that you do have 3% of your existing dwelling units right now are about the size of what an accessory dwelling unit would be under this new regulation. So it's kind of, it's not going to be out of character. But it does say that if you, the top 4 rows they make up 53% of your parcels in town. That's 1,800 square feet and below. And so what that shows is that 53% of the parcels, if they want to make an accessory dwelling unit, it'd be less than 900 square feet. So, and why that's important is because you guys have the availability of, when you do an accessory dwelling unit bylaw, you can either keep it as is, as the state presents it, or you can make it more permissive. You can change the maximum size. You can keep it either 900 square feet and half the gross floor area, or you can just say, I just want it to be 900 square feet. Let's not worry about the half of the gross floor area. That would simplify things. And then there's the third option where you can even actually just make it bigger if you'd like. You could be more permissive. You could say the largest an accessory dwelling unit could be is 1,000 square feet or 1,200 square feet. That's up to you guys to decide. But the way it stands as of right now, if you were to adopt it as the state recommends or has issued, 53% of the units potentially would be actually smaller than 900 square feet. And then, let's see, so, and actually because 53%, yeah, if you total up the 40% and all the smaller units would be smaller than 900 square feet. And if you total up the number of dwelling units that are 1,200 and below, if you look at half of that gross floor area, it's 600 square feet. And what's that saying is that 13% of your parcels could potentially have ADUs only up to 600 square feet. So there is some limiting factors in there. And maybe that's okay. You're okay with the smaller units. Just this provides that information to inform you as you make these decisions, knowing that you might have ADUs on the smaller side that are actually, in fact, smaller than 900 square feet. Things to consider, this is just for informational purposes as you craft the ADU bylaw and how you want it to tailor it. But things to consider is the smaller the unit is, that is harder, more expensive to build. So if this is something you want to encourage in town, you might want to think about allowing larger units because they are more expensive per square foot to get the energy ratings, the stretch code ratings.
Say this again. So we would want to make them bigger because that's easier?
It is less, it's on a square footage basis, it's actually less expensive to build. Because to be able to meet your HERS ratings and all of the other things, it's actually easier for larger units. So that tends
have to hit the same rating regardless.
No matter what.
Right. So like if you're building more,
then you can charge more. Yeah.
It's like a cheaper by the dozen thing, right? So if it's 400 square feet, you have to meet the same requirements for installation, wiring, et cetera, as you do for 1,000 square feet. So you might as well go bigger because you're going to spend the same amount for that 1,000 square foot to meet those wiring and installation requirements as you would.
What's also the air exchanges are harder to do in a smaller building.
Okay.
Yeah. Often you also have to do more tailoring and customization for smaller units. So it's just something for you to think about if you want to encourage them. The other thing I didn't put in the memo, and I should have, and I apologize, is something to consider for making accessory dwelling units, deciding what size you want them to be, is the state has a grant program called a Housing Choice Designation. It's very similar to the MVP, Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness. If you meet criteria to become a housing choice community, you get access to a very large pot of funding. And one of those criteria, and you guys aren't far off from meeting that criteria as of last year's criteria, one of them is, are you more permissive with your accessory dwelling unit bylaw? And so if you were to be, you could drop the half gross floor area requirement, that would make you more permissive, and then you could check that box off and become designated a housing choice community.
Would be as simple as that.
You'd have to meet a few other criteria, but it would get you that one step closer.
Do you know what the other criteria are?
So I have last year's. I know that they're redoing them and potentially making them more easier for smaller and rural towns. So I haven't seen that the final criteria yet to know exactly what our thresholds would be for like the town of Deerfield to meet. But you guys were close last year, and I've heard that they're going to make it a little bit easier for smaller rural towns. So it is something to think about.
So I have a question. Okay, so we meet these criteria and then there's funds available potentially for the community. Where do these funds go? What do we, are they incentives for people, a rebate?
The funding is for the town to, what's the wording, to encourage more housing development, but it's very flexible. It can be used for preparing site work, infrastructure to make the town to help with stormwater as you build more housing. It could also be complete street programs. It can be really kind of anything to entice housing to a community.
But it doesn't go to the individual.
No, it
who's
goes to the town.
Refurbishing their kind of costs
like
that
other-
maybe isn't accessible.
It's a lot like the MVP program. It's modeled after
It's
that.
an incentive for the municipality, not the individual.
Yeah.
So that's just something to think about as you have the authority to either keep the criteria as how the state has written it, or you can be more progressive. And this is just some information to help guide you as you decide how you want to structure it. All right, so then there's a map here. Yep, thank you, Alex. That shows the dwelling unit sizes throughout town, and you can see that it's actually pretty scattered evenly throughout town. There's kind of not real a concentration of one area with one particular size of dwelling units. They're fairly scattered throughout the town, so it's not you're not going to have really one pocket of a certain type of dwelling units. Okay, so the next analysis we looked at, so we particularly looked at the Central Village Residential District. That's kind of the South Deerfield residential area, the CVRD, because for accessory dwelling units, under the state law, you're not allowed to, you can't prohibit, unreasonably restrict, or require a special permit or other discretionary zoning approval for the creation of an ADU. However, you are allowed to apply reasonable dimensional standards, such as setbacks, lot coverage, in a reasonable way. And so we looked at just the CVRD because they have the smaller lots and denser development to see if your current dimensional standards might prevent ADUs from being built onto those lots. And so using your current setback requirements, we looked at all of the parcels in the CVRD and just found that the existing dwelling units, for the most part, comply with those dimensional standards, except for the frontage. About 50% of your parcels are technically non-conforming because they don't meet that 30-foot frontage setback. It's just something for you to think about. Even though parcels are technically pre-existing non-conforming, that's something you can't consider when creating an ADU. They still can be allowed, but just something for you to think about in terms of what is and isn't non-conforming right now. When you look at a 900, assuming you're going to include a 900 square foot or allow a 900 square foot ADU, we wanted to see, could you fit a 900 square foot unit on those lots in addition to those footprints of those buildings? And for the most part, you could. It wasn't a problem. On this map, we've illustrated one little structure that actually is about 900 square foot. It's 1,000 square foot, just to show you how they could fit on parcels within that district. And for the most part, it's really not a problem. There are, like Mountain Road has smaller parcels that might be an issue there. But for the most part, the dimensional standards should be applicable to accessory dwelling units in this district. So that's good to know. All right. And then the last analysis we did has nothing to do with accessory dwelling units, but since we were looking at all of your zoning and parcels, we thought we would also take a look at minimum lot size. And so this shows by district how the percentage of the parcels in each of the zoning districts that are technically not meeting your minimum lot size. And the RA and the C1 districts kind of really pop out. And there's 47 to 48% of the parcels in those districts technically do not meet the minimum lot sizes in those districts. And in fact, the average lot size that does not meet those standards are half about what you need in those districts. So, you know, if you're thinking about redevelopment or wanting to encourage redevelopment, you might want to think about, like, for instance, the C1, half of those lots are not meeting that minimum lot size. And if you really want to encourage development there, you might want to think about potentially changing that. Yeah.
You lot size and then you change it quick. But everybody else doesn't have to. Yeah. So.
And so there's a map down the next page that shows you the location of all those non-conforming lots, and they are scattered around town, particularly in the RA district. And then if you scroll down a little bit to see the C1 there, I'm sure is no surprise, very much concentrated right here in the South Deerfield area, around the Sugarloaf and Elm Street intersections. And that's particularly a point if you want to think about redevelopment there. So that is a very high level, a quick rundown of the analysis. Happy to answer any questions you might have. And all of these are GIS shape files that Alex is going to have, so she can be able to play around and look at all of this data in depth.
Well, it makes sense to look at South Deerfield also just because of sewer.
Yeah.
And most of the town is on septic, and it's just cost prohibitive.
I mean,
Sorry.
even building a standalone unit in South Deerfield is still going to be a lot of money. I mean, unless people are doing it within their homes.
Yeah,
Within
for accessory dwelling units, yes, they're not cheap. It's not a easy thing to do. They run a lot. It's a lot cheaper if you do it modular, which is allowed, and actually manufactured homes are also allowed under the bylaws. It's a half the cost if you do a modular construction. But it is not an affordable way of doing it, but it is an option to create more housing if you have the ability.
Do you have any guesstimates on, let's say, a 900-foot modular?
You know, I have the note. I was just talking to someone a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was like $100,000. Don't quote me. I have to check my notes, but it's around that to build an accessory dwelling unit. It's about half the cost if you go modular or use a manufactured housing unit.
That's a lot more reasonable than trying to build a home with septic and consider.
Yeah, if you're on septic, the cost is way more because you're most likely going to have to get a whole new system.
Right.
So I think that the questions are like, I'm very interested to know what these parameters are that the state is saying around permissibility and what that would open for us. And I suspect that would have to go to town meeting, which.
Well, so because we have to do this ADU bylaw update, it kind of already triggers us changing like our use tables, our dimensional requirements and stuff, because our current ADU bylaw actually has like very specific like rows within those tables anyway. So we're kind of already touching it. So maybe we just, see what maybe
So
makes
there's
sense.
a chance that this is more of a policy update than a bylaw change. Is that what you're?
Well, they'd be bylaw updates. They're bylaws, but our bylaws already have like specific ADU things that are now not even legal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think that the question becomes, if we're doing something above the requirements of the state, does that trigger a town meeting approval?
It will be a town meeting no matter what because you're changing the zoning bylaws.
But I think it goes from symbolic, like this is just making us in compliance with the state, to
Right. Yes.
adding permissibility, which then becomes a conversation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, hopefully that information will give you some idea of what already exists in town and the potential sizes you might have under current if you were to go with the regular or if you want to change it at all. one thing to think about also in terms of just administration of the bylaw, if you keep it the way it is of 900 square foot or half the gross floor area, that that creates work for you guys to enforce, to have to be able to calculate that half gross floor area, what it counts, and to go through a lot of work. If you just do it 900 square foot, it does simplify the process a lot for you and the building inspector. That's one way to look at it, but that's entirely up to you guys to decide how to pursue that.
I mean, it's kind of good timing because we just went through 1 bedrooms that were 720 square feet and efficiencies that were 400 square feet. So in terms of helping wrap our minds around size and what might the town have appetite for.
Well, and, I mean, think about who might want to be in an accessory dwelling. It could be a college kid, could be, grandparents. So they're probably downsizing anyway, and a college kid doesn't have any money, so.
Well, and just so you guys are all aware too, I've been talking with Emily Johnson, who works at the Conway School, and they're willing to like take our bylaws and take the housing community of choice designations and do a graduate like study over a few weeks this coming January potentially. We're still kind of fleshing out if it works. If it doesn't work, because we can't bogart all of Megan's time, but she's offered to at least help too. And so, I mean, I think there's maybe an opportunity if we're touching it. We might as well go for it. And
The kickback on the 900 is just that a small house is going to have a larger, potentially not really, but they're going to double their size. That's the kick. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the problem is.
Well, there's
Because it's an apartment, it's making your house into two houses.
yeah, I think that there's concern around congestion.
Yep. Well,
Like if you have a
congestion
900 square foot house, for example, and we make it a 900 square foot requirement, then on one lot, you could essentially have two of the same house where there's currently
Right.
one.
as long as it meets current setbacks.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Listen, I don't care.
no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, so that's saying to somebody, you can't build onto your house. That's okay. I just really am trying to anticipate, like, as much as I understand, I guess well, and so, and so my neighbor wants to double their house. That's their, like,
Well, we know from the last time this was before the town that people are concerned about
they're concerned.
infill. They're concerned about
Infill, yeah.
yeah,
Infill's
who's
a big one.
who's coming in. They're concerned for students. Parking.
Short-term usage.
Parking's huge.
That it's gonna
Parking,
be
though, I will,
pain.
the state, the way the regs are written, you're only allowed to require one parking space. You can't require anything further, and that's per state regulations, unless it's a half mile within a bus stop, and then you can't require any parking. So that issue has been taken off the table for you.
It can't be on street, right? It
Right,
needs to not
it-
be
Right.
on street.
yeah.
I mean, I think really the conversation is municipality, right? Like, are you on town sewer water? Yeah. Because,
Yeah.
which is just a
Right.
small sect of, Deerfield. I was just out there with Deerfield. So we're looking at South Deerfield and there is congestion. I mean, I look at my street, for example, the neighborhood that you showed is my neighborhood. And there is a lot of, there's this a little congested there.
But I think that I'm not debating you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you. I think that I think the reality is that there's going to be a lot of conversation for the maybe 4 people
Yeah.
who ever do this.
Yeah.
Because like I'm thinking
Yes.
about, I'm also in that neighborhood that she showed on Graves, and I would be thrilled to have an ADU, and there's just there's no land for that,
There's no.
like it just wouldn't happen unless we flattened our garage. So the reality is the number of properties that even can accommodate an ADU
That's my point.
is not that many. I suppose there's an argument that if I added an entrance to my home, I could turn maybe my basement into an ADU, but that wouldn't change frontage. That wouldn't change any of the requirements that we're talking about. So I think that there's going to be a level of discussion that ultimately, I think once again we have before us, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way, but forgive me, we have before us something that's probably, we're talking about like two families.
Like so.
And if we can make it work for those two families, now we have access to grant funding.
Yeah, I think part of it is the flexibility you provide. Like, so if there's not many, then maybe make it more flexible, I think is one of the arguments, so that they could do it.
Good point.
And it is by right. I mean, it's a protected use under the state regulations now. So whether they're coming or not is not up to you guys. You have to allow them to occur. So,
What a shift.
so,
Crazy.
that also is taken off the table for you.
It was kind of like,
Right?
well, when I joined the board, the ADUs were allowed just as long as they only went to your grandmother. I mean, so then, guess what? I hate to tell you about grandmothers, but they don't last as long as they used to. And, I mean, I'm not a grandmother yet. You know that. Everybody here knows that. So, but anyway, and then you had all these people with these ADUs. I mean, it was unregulated.
There's a house on my street with a house that's supposed to be an ADU, but because of our earlier bylaws.
The earlier
couldn't be a
bylaw,
bylaw.
it couldn't be.
an ADU. So
And
yes.
then they have to have, like, we had an amnesty thing because we had to figure out how to bring these people into the fold so that we could count them. That was a big issue because everybody had been kind of running them underneath the table because, you know, your oldest child who was living in the ADU moved, and then you're like, you know what we could do, like Kathy's, you know, efficiency. So anyway, I do think that this is a great shift. So, and I think that the governor has given us, but it has changed a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to make it less restrictive because it's highly unlikely we're going to have a zillion people do this. And I also think that, I mean, there's some larger homes that are occupied probably mostly by older women just because.
We last longer than we used to.
Maybe. But
Grandmothers.
I mean, it may be cheaper to do it, you know, in someone's home and actually, you know, give them some income. I don't know. I mean, we'd have to run the numbers on that. I really don't know what that would
We
cost.
do have a good example right now before the ZBA. 7 Thayer Street is a former funeral home behind a single family residential dwelling, and they're trying to change that into, you know, that literally their grandparents and the kids live in the main house, and then they want to also have 2 additional units, one that's I think a studio, and then another that's a 2-bedroom, and you know, like that they would be a prime example.
I think it's the kind of thing that will have minimal impact
Right.
on the town. But if it gives us access to expand complete streets,
Right.
work on stormwater where we have this huge water issue, expand common, like there's all of these other projects that.
Yeah, I will say some of the feedback we do get for people who are concerned about the larger size is that they could be used as short-term rentals, but that is within your purview to say, no, you can say within this, they're not allowed to be used as short-term rentals, if that's something.
We worked on that we worked on that last time.
And the
Right.
7th Thayer Street, he's doing all that work himself.
He's a contractor, but yes.
Detached, 2 big garage. And if I do nothing to it, I can get what I could get if I refinished, right, you know, and get the same amount of rent. Like, so when people start looking at these regulations and like the cost and the building and the time and it is a challenge, right? I mean, I think it's worthy, and I think you're right. If 3 people want to do this and we can open up these funds, that's great. But I think it's, and here's the thing, we're pioneers, right? We're pioneering this. We're moving forward on how do we, you know, open up some housing and sort of change the dynamic of where people can live. And
I mean, ADUs are not going to be the silver bullet for the housing.
No, they're
crisis.
not.
No. It's just another tool.
It's just
Right.
another tool.
My thoughts, let's make it simple as possible. Okay, because if not, you know, I mean, this can go on and on forever with ADUs, but considering that it's probably not going to be a big thing here in Deerfield, let's make it as less restrictive as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
That's up to you guys, but I would agree.
And for those listening online, do not
Thank you
misconstrue
for
what I've done.
staying.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm getting paid.
Megan.
It's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you
Yeah,
guys. Have a good one.
You.
So what are our next steps on that? We need to look at our bylaws, see.
I know.
Yeah.
I
and
know.
make a.
Wasn't there one more
Okay.
thing?
All right. What? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna do that. So for the last thing, hopefully last thing on our list is the CPA Conservation Fund grant application. And did everyone get that letter? Okay, basically, okay, Andrea.
Good night, everybody. I'm leaving you.
Bye.
Bye,
Oh,
Bob.
thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Andrea was not able to be here, and then also Julie Caswell she was traveling too. So Andrea sent this to me. So the Open Space Committee and Concom are submitting an application to the Community Preservation Committee for the creation of a conservation fund. The creation of this fund will allow the Concom to acquire land and or support activities for the use of land throughout town for the betterment of the community. One example for which the fund might be used would be in the payment of easements on the Pecumtuck Ridge for trails on privately owned land. So having such a fund would allow the Concom to react more quickly to opportunities rather than following the annual schedule of the Community Preservation Committee, which is like once a year. And I think, what do you have to have your application by November 1st? And then in the case the town of having the right of first refusal to acquire parcel of land, there is a limit of 120 days to express interest in acquisition. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. Do you have anything to add to that, Alex? No?
No, I mean, it just gives the town flexibility to use those funds, between an application
Right.
period and use it whenever.
Okay. So there is the letter, and if everyone supports that, it's basically, and once again, does anyone have copies of this or just me? Okay. Okay. I'll paraphrase. So, okay. It's just having that if we decide to do this, we express our enthusiastic report. To do this grant award would be $100,000 to establish the conservation fund. It just allows the flexibility. Once again, it's what I just read from Andrea. If you'd like, I can pass this around for you to read it. But increasing open space, including parcels suitable for walking and hiking, is one of the leading goals of the Deerfield Open Space and REC plan, which we've already endorsed. So the Conservation Fund would allow the town to respond to opportunities, open space as they come up. So meaning we wouldn't miss out if some great opportunity came up because we'd have to wait, for November 1st.
I move we endorse.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I'll-
Pam began.
Oh, good. Go Ann.
Emily.
And Ann second.
Anne.
Okay. All right. Put it out to a vote. Rachel Blaine.
Rachel Blaine, yes.
Emily Gaylord, yes.
Kathy Wetruba, yes. Ann Buchanan, yes.
And Denise Mason, yes. All right. So I will sign this.
On behalf
Okay.
of the board.
You did it.
Excellent.
Also, I would like to formally, we're at other comments. I would also like to, and I know I speak on behalf of all of us, to thank Emily for the outstanding effort that she put forward. And thank her for her diligence and her courage, yes, but also just persistence in the face of, what was apparently an insurmountable amount of
Insurmountable.
not
Oh,
insurmountable,
not
but
insurmountable.
in the first steps, a little more treacherous than we thought. I have to say, I thought. But anyway, bless you.
you.
Would
Thank
never have
you.
gone. And so that's our Emily Gaylord. And I
Listen,
I
I
s-
sit with
I-
some very amazing women once a month. So
well, we want to affirm also that this is a planning board and our job is to plan.
Yes.
And if somebody else is, like there is a breakdown of planning for things and paying for things, and people who are paying for things seem to get antsy. But we're the planning board,
Right.
and that's what we need to be doing, is looking down the road and around the corner. And
yeah, I
So-
think that That's why I said forgive my earlier comment, but that is an example of something where the impact would have been small in terms of
Yep.
what people had to contend with, but that the finances from the state would have been very large.
And you can't have been more clear.
Right.
So I just want to put that out there
Thank
that
you.
I just was very proud to be part of,
Mm.
or to know you.
Well, thank you for your endorsement of
Yep.
the citizens petition.
Yep. And
Right.
continue to adore.
And we're going to continue to work on it
Yep.
because I think it's really good for the town.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of misinformation and people came in with predetermined ideas.
Fear.
So,
It's a lot of fear.
so there's work ahead, but it's
Actually,
worthwhile.
think that people formed an opinion before they had all the information, and it is really hard to walk back an opinion once you've made it.
Yep.
And so I completely appreciate that. A lot of the things people were concerned about, I mean, we just saw it, are stretch code requirements, not specialized code requirements. And as noted, most people are building this way anyway, so it'll be interesting to see. I got 6 months.
Yep, yep.
Oh, yeah, I moved that we adjourn. Anybody else got that same feeling?
Do I hear a second? Rachel
yeah,
made-
second.
Oh, they all won.
Okay, I'll,
Aye.
Rachel.
Oh, Emily Gaylord, aye.
Kathy Wetruba, aye.
Dan Buchanan, aye.
and Denise Mason, aye, so meeting is adjourned. Can you stop the